So my manager talks to, 90% of my clients. We make that introduction to them. But when it comes right down to the nitty gritty, it's me.
Yeah.
It's taking the fall. It's me that's taking the hit if something goes wrong.
Sure.
It's like that, and people don't understand.
Recent sightings at car shows and auctions describe a more subdued Wayne, one who avoids the spotlight that once made him famous. He's published an autobiography called Steering Through Life, perhaps hoping to control his narrative, but sales have been modest. The classic car community has a long memory, and many still remember how he treated Roger Barr and handled the Pierce Arrow situation. Motor Trend continues airing Chasing Classic Cars reruns, capitalizing on nostalgia for better times when Wayne seemed trustworthy and the show felt authentic. But there's no talk of revival or new episodes. The automotive TV landscape has moved on to younger hosts and fresher formats. Wayne's era appears to be over, relegated to late-night reruns and cautionary tales about how fame and fortune can corrupt even the most passionate enthusiasts. Wayne Carini's story serves as a reminder that success in the classic car world requires more than just knowledge and charisma. It demands integrity, loyalty, and genuine care for the people who help build your empire. His fall from grace wasn't caused by market forces or changing viewer preferences, but by personal choices that revealed character flaws his polished TV persona had hidden for years. The man who spent decades chasing classic cars ultimately became a classic example of how quickly reputation can rust away when you stop maintaining the relationships that matter most. Roger Barr may have been the curmudgeon, but Wayne proved to be the real villain in this automotive soap opera. Sometimes the most valuable restoration project is your own integrity, and that's one restoration Wayne Carini may never complete. For over a decade, Wayne Carini was the golden boy of automotive television. His smooth Connecticut accent guided millions through barn finds and million-dollar restorations. Then suddenly, the cameras stopped rolling, new episodes vanished, and the questions started piling up like rust on a forgotten classic. The man who built an empire chasing automotive legends found himself running from controversies that would make any collector think twice. What really happened wasn't about ratings or network decisions, it was about lawsuits, betrayals, and accusations that shattered everything fans believed about their favorite car guy. The first crack in Wayne's polished reputation appeared in court documents that read like a classic car thriller gone wrong. In 2020, Australian collector Robert Richmond dragged Wayne's companies into a brutal legal battle over a rare 1934 Pierce Arrow coupe. The story started in 2010 when Richmond paid nearly $100,000 for the vintage beauty, expecting it shipped to Australia. Instead, the car vanished into a nightmare web of bankruptcy, shady dealers, and forged documents that would haunt Wayne for years. The middleman, Gary Dixo, was supposed to restore and ship the Pierce Arrow but instead filed for bankruptcy while secretly selling Richmond's car to Gullwing Motors. Wayne entered this disaster in 2017, hired to appraise what he thought was a legitimate sale. He valued the car between $100,000 and $120,000, believing every piece of paperwork was legit. Big mistake. When Richmond's lawyers came calling, Wayne discovered he'd purchased stolen property without knowing it. The legal nightmare dragged on for 3 years. Wayne faced accusations of knowingly buying stolen goods, had his business practices questioned in depositions, and watched his reputation take hit after hit. Though the court eventually ruled he acted in good faith, the damage was devastating. Wayne had to return the car, reimburse buyers, and cover massive legal fees. The squeaky clean image he'd cultivated for decades was tarnished, and collectors started whispering about whether they could trust him. This wasn't just a business loss, it was a public humiliation that showed even experts can get burned by the car world's dark side. But that lawsuit was nothing compared to the controversy that really turned fans against Wayne. Roger Barr had been the heart and soul of chasing classic cars for years. The cranky 80-year-old mechanic was the guy viewers actually wanted to see, often overshadowing Wayne himself. Fans would visit F40 Motorsports just hoping to meet the grumpy genius who could fix anything with wheels. Then in 2017, Roger suddenly disappeared from the show without explanation, and the ugly truth began surfacing. Roger had sustained a serious leg infection while working on a restoration project at Wayne's shop. The 82-year-old was hospitalized twice, unable to work, and facing mounting medical bills. Here's where things got ugly. Roger wasn't receiving workers' compensation despite being injured on the job. His family claimed Wayne was actively fighting the workers' comp claim, arguing the infection might not be work-related. For a man who'd worked part-time at the shop for over 15 years and never earned a dime from his TV appearances, this felt like betrayal. The situation became public when Roger's friend Steve Cripps started a GoFundMe campaign. revealing that the beloved mechanic was struggling financially. Fans were shocked to learn Roger had never been paid for his TV appearances despite being the show's most popular personality. The campaign revealed Roger's only income came from working 3 half-days per week at Wayne's shop, barely enough to survive. The contrast was stark. Wayne was making millions from the show while Roger, who arguably made it watchable, was working into his 80s just to keep a roof over his head. Social media exploded with criticism. Fans accused Wayne of exploiting Roger's expertise and personality for profit while abandoning him when he needed help most. The optics were terrible. A wealthy TV star fighting an elderly employee's medical claim after years of using him as unpaid talent. Roger eventually found work at the Paddock Car Restorations, where he seemed happier and more valued. But the damage to Wayne's reputation was irreversible, with many fans swearing off the show entirely. By 2021, the writing was on the wall. Chasing Classic Cars had been struggling with declining viewership, shortened seasons, and a fan base increasingly critical of Wayne's business practices. The show that once aired multiple seasons per year was down to just 5 episodes in its final season. While Motor Trend never officially canceled the series, production quietly ceased after 17 seasons, with only reruns continuing to air. The reasons went deeper than ratings. Wayne was dealing with legal costs from the Pierce Arrow lawsuit, negative publicity from the Roger Barr controversy, and a classic car market that was becoming increasingly skeptical of TV personalities. Auction houses and serious collectors started questioning whether Wayne's involvement might actually hurt values rather than help them. The magic that made viewers trust him was gone, replaced by suspicion about his motives and methods. Industry insiders whispered about other deals gone wrong, unhappy customers, and a reputation that had become more liability than asset. The clean-cut image that built Wayne's empire was cracking, revealing someone who seemed more concerned with profit than the people who helped him succeed. Without Roger's curmudgeonly charm and facing mounting controversies, the show became a shadow of its former self. Motor Trend likely saw the writing on the wall and decided to pull the plug before things got worse. The financial impact of these controversies hit Wayne hard. The Pierce Arrow lawsuit cost him over $100,000 in the car alone, plus massive legal fees that likely reached 6 figures. His reputation damage was even costlier. Deals fell through, partnerships dissolved, and the premium he once commanded for appraisals and restorations evaporated. F40 Motorsports continued operating, but without the TV show's promotional power, business suffered. Wayne also faced the hidden costs of defending his actions. Workers' compensation battles, legal depositions, and damage control efforts consumed time and money that should have been spent finding and restoring classic cars. The stress showed in his final episodes, where he seemed less enthusiastic and more guarded than the Wayne who'd charmed audiences for over a decade. The irony wasn't lost on longtime fans. The man who'd built a fortune chasing classic cars was now being chased by legal troubles and public relations nightmares. Every deal became scrutinized, every relationship questioned. The trust that took decades to build crumbled in just a few years, proving that in the classic car world, reputation is everything, and once it's damaged, it's nearly impossible to restore to original condition. Today, Wayne Carini remains active in the classic car world, but as a much diminished figure. He still operates F40 Motorsports from his Connecticut facility, buying and selling vintage automobiles for wealthy collectors who either don't know about his controversies or don't care. His Instagram account, once regularly updated with exciting finds and restoration progress, went silent in late 2021. The man who used to crave publicity now seems to prefer working behind the scenes.